Hashem says, if you will follow my decrees, meaning my mitzvot, if you follow my decrees and observe my commandments and perform them, then I will provide you rains in their time. So we see here from the pasuk something very interesting, where Hashem, he doesn't just say, if you do my mitzvot. He says, if you follow them and you observe them and you perform them. So we see here that every mitzvah that's in the Torah has three different parts. Okay, every mitzvah has three different parts. So first, Hashem says, if you follow. What does it mean if you follow? What does it mean if you follow? First, you have to learn the mitzvot. You have to learn Torah. How are you going to know that the mitzvah exists if you never learned them exist? How will a person know that how to keep Shabbat if he doesn't learn the laws of Shabbat? Right. So the first thing we have to do is we have to learn Torah. Learn what to do. And then, if you observe them and perform them, meaning you have to not only learn the Torah, but you have to pay attention to when you're supposed to do it. Can you keep Shabbat every day?
No.
Oh, no. Now, when do you keep Shabbat?
On Saturday.
Saturday on Shabbat. So you can't keep Shabbat on a Tuesday. You can't say, oh no, I want to be extra tzaddik. I want to keep Shabbat on Tuesday. Can I do that?
No.
I want to be extra tzaddik. I want to keep Shabbat on Sunday. Can I do that? No. You have to know when to do the mitzvot. Because even though we have 613 mitzvot, a lot of mitzvot, but not all of them are relevant to every person. Some mitzvot are just for the Kohanim. So if a person is not a Kohen, you can't do them. Some mitzvot are just for girls. So if you're not a girl, you can't do them. Some mitzvot are just for boys. So if you're not a boy, you can't do them.
Let's eat.
Right? Some mitzvot are only for specific times. Like you have the holidays. You have Shavuot. What's Shavuot? Why do you celebrate Shavuot? What happened on Shavuot? On Torah. We received the Torah. So you can't celebrate Shavuot today. Why? Because we didn't receive the Torah today. We have to celebrate Shavuot on the day that Hashem said it. We have to celebrate Sukkot when Hashem said to celebrate Sukkot. So we have to pay attention when the mitzvot apply. If this mitzvah applies to me, because this mitzvah is for a boy, and it's for someone that's not a Kohen, because I'm not a Kohen, and it's the day to do it, that's when I do it. But if it's a mitzvah for right now, but it's for a girl, can I do it still? No, I'm not a girl. If it's a mitzvah that has to be done right now, but it's only for the Kohanim, can I do it? No, because I'm not a Kohen. If it's a mitzvah for the Bet HaMikdash, and I really want to do it, can I do it now? Unfortunately, no, because there's no Bet HaMikdash. But if you continue learning Torah, and continue doing tshuva, then Hashem is going to send the Mashiach. And what happens when the Mashiach comes? What is he going to build? The Mikdash. And we're going to fill the mitzvot and our part of the Bet HaMikdash. So we have to know when to do that.
Like Korban Pesach.
Korban Pesach, Korban Baruch. So that's the same. The third thing is if you perform that. What does it mean? If you already told me to learn it, and if you already told me to observe it, why does Hashem add another word and tell me, now seek them and you actually perform them? That's because there are some people that they like to learn Torah, they like to know the law, but they don't want to do it. Is that what if he says, listen, I know all of the laws, and I know when you have to do all of these laws, but I don't want to do it. But Hashem is going to give me a reward for knowing it. Is that true or no? Is a mitzvah worth anything if you don't do it?
No.
No. You have to, exactly. You have to do it also. You have to perform the mitzvot. You have to perform the mitzvot. And that's one of the things that we learn just from the beginning of the pasuk. The beginning of the pasuk. Now, the next part where Kadosh Baruch Hu, after he tells us about all of the blessings, he started telling us that if there are people, there are Jewish people that don't follow the Torah, there are punishments. Why does Hashem punish us? Does Hashem get anything out of punishing us? Is he happy if he punishes us? No, not at all. He loves us. So why does he punish us?
Because he needs to.
Why?
Because you're doing bad things.
So let's say for example, let's compare it to something that we can all understand. Let's just say there is a little boy or girl. And let's just say, we'll say both. There's a boy and a girl, okay? And we'll call the boy David, and we'll call the girl
Rose.
Rose? Okay.
No, Rose.
Rosie?
Yeah.
Rosie. Rosie, we're gonna call Rosie and Dave. And what's the guy's name?
And
Dave. Rosie and Dave. Let's just say they're brother and sister, and they're friends, and they like each other, but sometimes they're troublemakers. They decide that when the rabbi gave stickers, or he gave candy, or he gave cards, they decide that they don't like the ones that they got, and they see that Ovadia got something that they like better, or they see that Leah got something that is even better, and they say, "You want to leave? You want to exchange? Maybe switch?" And they said, "No, I like my cards. I don't want to change. I like what I have." But I want it. Leah said, "But I don't want to change. I like what I have." So then they wait until Leah's not looking, and they take it from her. Is that allowed?
No!
Stealing. So now we're already, they stealing, and of course, the Rabbanit, she sees everything, and she says, "Oh, look, David and Rosie stole the card from Leah." "No, David, not allowed, right? Not allowed, steal. You have to give it back." And he gives it back. And then he waits until the Rabbanit's not looking again, and Leah's not looking again, and he steals it again. Is it allowed now? Because you did it?
No!
Is it even worse this time, or it's the same?
Worse.
Why is it worse this time?
Because he did it again.
So
Because
he did it once, and the Rabbanit said no. And then he did it again. So why is it worse
Because
this
also
time?
chutzpah. He got it too!
Oh, so now it was even worse. Because now he's not only stealing, but he's also disrespecting the Rabbanit, right? So now the Rabbanit says, "I have to punish you now. Punishment, I'm going to take your cards, and you're not getting a card anymore today. You're getting punished." Why did the Rabbanit punish him? Does she really need his card? No. Does she want to punish him? No.
Not.
Does she want his cards? No.
Not.
So why does the Rabbanit need to punish him? Why? David and Rosie, both of them, the little thieves.
Because he's scared. Because they steal.
So why does she need to punish him? Why didn't you just say, again, no, don't do it?
That's not gonna make him listen.
That's your cause. You see here, the first time she said it, don't do it. David and Rosie didn't want to listen, and they did it again. They did the first time, they stole. They got in trouble, but they said, okay, this time, just give it back. But then when he did it again, it showed that the first warning was not enough. Obviously, he's not scared because all he got was, oh, I took it, and they saw me, so I just give it back. So maybe this time I'll take it, and they won't see me, so this time I'll be able to keep it. But then the Rabbanit saw it again. They said, no, now, not only did I see it, but now you also disrespected the Rabbanit. Now it's not good. Now I have to punish you. Why? Because now you need to know that there is a consequence. Do you guys know what the consequence means? So a consequence means that everything that you do, that there is something will happen as a result of it. So which means that if a person does their homework, then that means that they're going to get good grades in school. If a person listens to their parents, that's fulfilling the mitzvah, and they're going to be happy for doing it. And Hashem says that if you listen to your parents, you live a long life. Does everyone live a long life?
Yeah.
You always want to live a long life until Mashiach comes, right? And then we can live forever, Be'ezrat Hashem. So the thing is, though, is that a person that listens and fulfills the mitzvah gets rewarded. But if he doesn't listen, he doesn't fulfill the mitzvah, Hashem gives us a warning. But if a person doesn't listen again, then Hashem punishes. Why? Because that's the only way that a person will understand that there is a consequence for what they're doing. Meaning that if they do good, they will get good. If they do bad, they will get bad. And that way, when the person knows, wait, so if I do good, I get candy. You guys like candy? Everybody loves candy, right? So if I do good, you love candy. So if I do good and then I get good, that's good. If somebody is does bad and they know that if they do bad they get bad, and that's not good. They don't want to be the only kid in class that doesn't get candy. They don't want to be the only kid in class that doesn't get a check mark, doesn't get the cards, doesn't get a passing grade. They don't want that's bad, right? They don't want to be punished. So Hashem says in the Torah, I have to tell you about the punishment. Why? Because I don't want to punish you. That's why I tell you about the punishment, because I don't want to punish you. But if I didn't tell you about the punishment, then you wouldn't know what is the consequence of going against the Torah. If I just said don't do it, and I didn't say anything bad will happen, I just said just don't do it. Person would say, well, he just said don't do it, but I don't know what bad's going to happen, don't try it. And then if they get punished, oh, I didn't know it's going to be that bad. So that's why Hashem says, I have to tell you that there is a reward and punishment, that there is a consequence for everything that we do. If we are tzadikim, we go to Gan Eden. If we're not tzadikim, if we're l'shaim, chas v'shalom, people that are l'shaim, like David and Rosie, sometimes they want to be l'shaim, then chas v'shalom, they go not to Gan Eden, go to Gehinnom. We don't want that. We don't want to be like the l'shaim. We want to be like tzadikim. Once David and Rosie got in trouble, and they saw, ooh, but he didn't like it. She punished me because I stole again. So now from now on, I'm not going to steal anymore. I'm not going to steal anymore. Why? It's not worth it. I don't want to get punished. You understand? So when a person doesn't want to get punished, they do the right thing. So that's another thing that the Torah explains to us. Next, the Torah tells us that in this parasha, that sometimes a person does bad things, and Hashem doesn't punish them right away. Hashem lets them do whatever they want. They have what's called free choice. But eventually, obviously, everybody has to have a consequence for all their actions. Now, but because Hashem doesn't want to punish Am Yisrael, because He loves Am Yisrael, He doesn't want to punish with big punishments. So sometimes what He does is that if a person, let's say, is stealing from the rabbi, and the rabbi doesn't like it, because the rabbi works very, very hard and he doesn't want people to steal from him, and then the person steals anyway, instead of working like the rabbi is paying him to do, he decides that he doesn't want to work. And what happens is, that's considered stealing, because the rabbi is paying him, right? So then the rabbi says, please, you have to work. And then he says, okay, I'll work. But then he doesn't work again. Again, he doesn't do it. So that's again, like we said before, that's even more, that's even worse. Not only he stole the first time, now he stole the second time, right? So then the rabbi says, listen, I don't want to punish you with big punishment, so please, you have to stop. If you stop stealing, right? And the person does it again. David and Rosie steal again. Is it good or no good?
No.
It's worse than the first time. Is it worse than the second time?
Yes.
Much worse.
It's much worse.
It's much worse.
Terrible.
Terrible. So that's what the Torah says. The Torah says, if you listen to my laws, you get blessings. If you don't listen to my laws, then there's problems. If after I warn you, you still don't listen to my laws, then it's sevenfold problems. Meaning it's much, much worse. Much, much worse. And Hashem says all types of scary things. Scary things. Why? Because even after I give you a small punishment, you still didn't listen, you still didn't do tshuva. That means that you don't care about what Hashem is saying. So then you have serious problems. Then Hashem says, it's not good. And now, because I don't want to punish you even worse, I'm going to make a big punishment, but not the worst. Why? So you stop it already. Stop stealing from the rabbi. Stop doing bad things, David and Rosie. Right?
No.
Be good. Be tzadikim. It's not hard to be. Is it hard to be a tzadik?
No.
Is it fun to be a tzadik?
Yeah.
I want to be a tzadik. So that's not hard. That's all.
Not like David and Rose.
David and Rosie, they have to do tshuva, David and Rosie. David and Rosie have to do tshuva. So, Hashem says that it's very, very important to listen the first time. If you learn Torah, like you guys are doing right now, then you already know that you're not allowed to take somebody else's cards, you're not allowed to take somebody else's stickers, you know that you're not allowed. Now, if you did it by mistake, and you stole somebody's cards, and you stole somebody's stickers, then, of course, you know now, you have to return it right away. You have to return it right away. But Hashem says that even after we learn and we still don't do the right thing, it's much worse. The person can lose all their cards. Because what happens is, if this person doesn't listen to Hashem, one day they can wake up and they don't have any cards at all. All the cards are gone. So we don't want the cards. Imagine a person wakes up and they, oh, good morning, and then they go to where all their toys are, and all the toys are gone. The toys are gone. Terrible. And then they say, Hashem, what happened to all my toys? Where are all my toys? And Hashem says, that's because I told you not to steal the toys. And you stole one card from somebody. I told you not to steal. Yeah, but I only stole one card. Yes, but even though you only stole one card, I told you not to steal. And even after you knew not to steal the card or the sticker, you still did it. The punishment is much worse, and you can lose all the toys. So that's why Hashem says this to us. Why? Because He wants to scare us here. Because now that we're scared to lose all of our toys, now we say, you know what? I'm not going to take anybody's cards. I don't want to lose all my toys. So that's the thing. It's very important for us to listen to the Torah. Because that way, even if we made a mistake and we took something that doesn't belong to us, we'll know right away that it's a mistake and we'll fix it. And that's why Hashem says that He has to warn us. He has to tell us about these things, because that way once you know, then we won't do it. That's also the reason why our parents, sometimes the parents will have to punish the David and Rosie. Not you guys are tzadikim. But David and Rosie, when they did something bad, the parents sometimes have to punish them. Why? Because they know that if they don't punish them, then David and Rosie are going to continue doing bad things. And if they don't punish them again, then David and Rosie will continue doing worse and worse things. They'll become criminals. We don't want them to become criminals. And then I want to tell you a story. There's one time, a famous story that was a shocking story. It's a real story.
It was scary.
Yes.
Scary, creepy.
There was a young man that killed somebody. He tried to steal something from an old lady, he tried to steal something from an old lady, and the old lady didn't want to steal her bag, and she pulled it from him, and he pulled it so hard from her to take it from her that she fell and she got hurt and she died. Now the police found out, and they sent the police to him, and they arrested him, and they put him in trial. How long they're going to put him in prison? What are they going to do with him? Because according to the Torah, if somebody kills somebody, it's a death penalty. So after they went to court, they said, "Look, did you do it?" I said, "Yes, I did." "Why did you do it?" I said, "Because I wanted to take her back. I want to take all the money she had." We have evidence. People saw you do it. It's on camera. There's witnesses. And you're not even denying it. So you're going to get punished and you have to go to jail for a long time, 25 years.
25 years?
Yeah.
Do they give them food?
Yes, they give food, but they live in a cage. In other countries, they kill the person. According to the Torah, they don't have to kill the person. So now, they asked now, "Do you have any final requests before you get the penalty?" He said, "Yes." "You what?" He said, I want to see my Ima. She's in the court. I want her to come close to me. I want to give her a hug. I said, "Okay, fine. Sounds reasonable, right?" So they said, "Okay, fine." They brought his Ima. And then, as his Ima came close to him, and he pretended like he wants to hug her, and as soon as she came close, he hugged her, but then he bit her on her ear. On her ear. He hurt his Ima. People screamed, "Ah, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing?" People stopped him, and they said, "What are you doing? How can you do this?" He says, "Everything that I did that was bad, that I got arrested for, that I killed this woman, it's only because of this." Why? Because when I was a little boy, my Ima told me that if I want the apple that's in the store, I don't have to pay for it. I can just take it. Because the guy that owns the store, he's rich. He has a lot of apples. So I could just steal one from him. So I said, "Okay, if I could just steal it," I took it. And then I told her one day, "Ima, I want a toy." And she says, "Okay, go to the toy store, take whatever you want." I said, "Don't I have to pay?" He said, "No, just doing the same thing like you do with the apple." So I went to the toy store and I stole something from the toy store. And no one caught me. And that way, I had the toys. And that's when I learned to steal from my Ima. She told me that if I want something, I could just take it. Is that allowed or not allowed?
No.
Not allowed. Ima did not learn Torah. His Ima taught him the wrong thing. Because she thought, "Well, he's just a little kid. He's just stealing an apple. He's just stealing a toy. It's not so much money." But she didn't realize that because she taught me to steal, I continued to steal. It was an apple, and then a toy, and then another toy. But then when I got older, I didn't want toys anymore. I want something more. I want something more valuable. So I started stealing jewelry, and I started stealing all types of expensive things. And now, finally, I wanted to steal this woman's money, and I ended up killing her as a result. So this man told everybody in the court all the bad things that I did now. It all started when I was a kid. When my Ima told me that instead of learning Torah, instead of doing mitzvot, instead of doing the right thing, she told me it's okay to steal. Because she thought it's not a big deal because it was only an apple and it was only a toy. But I grew up and I wanted big toys and I wanted expensive things and now I became a murderer. So it's all her fault. And he's right. Even though really he's still not supposed to do it. Obviously he gets punished from Hashem. But the point here is that we have to learn that the Torah tells us all of these instructions so we could learn it now at a young age where we're still pure neshamot, that we can understand that we cannot do bad things that are against the Torah. We have to listen to the Torah. And if we made a mistake and we stole somebody something, or we did something bad to somebody, what can we do if I made a mistake? If let's say David and Rosie, they stole somebody's cards. Let's say they stole Leah's cards and nobody saw it. But they heard the shiur and they said, "Well, I don't want to be bad. I want to be punished. What should I do then?" What would you tell David and Rosie to do if they stole a card?
Stop. Give it back.
Oh, give it back. Give it back. But then David Rosie said, "But if I give it back, then I'm going to be embarrassed that they're going to know that I stole."
Yeah, but then Hashem is not going to punish them.
So it's worth it to be embarrassed a little bit and return the card because that's part of tshuva. That's part of tshuva. That's part of what you're doing. But you know what? The Gemara says in Masechet Brachot, a person that does tshuva, a person that returns what he stole, a person that goes and says, "I'm sorry that I did something bad." Let's say if David and Rosie, they did something bad to somebody, even if it's not stealing, even if, let's say, they hit somebody, or they hurt somebody, or they make fun of somebody, and they go and say, "I'm sorry," the Gemara tells us, David and Rosie now, because they did tshuva, Hashem puts them even in a higher place than tzadikim. Why? Because now that you've done tshuva, you fulfilled a special mitzvah of tshuva, and now as long as you stay that way, and you stay good, you could be even higher than somebody that never sinned. But that's as long as you stay. But if he does bad, and then he does tshuva, and he does bad again, and does tshuva, it doesn't work. But not to make the same sin over and over again. Not to keep stealing every day and say, no, I'm ready to return. That doesn't work. That's making fun of the system. That's what we learned in the Mishnah, in the Sechet Yomah, where it says, since the person does tshuva, he gets rewarded. So you know what? I'm going to steal, and then tomorrow I'm going to give it back to them. And then I'm going to steal again, and then tomorrow I'm going to give it back to them. Can you do something like that?
No.
Happy tongue, we can't do it. That's like making fun of the system. It's like making fun of the Torah. So if a person made a mistake, then they do tshuva. And they continue doing good things. And if they happen to make another mistake some other time, they do tshuva again. But not to keep making the mistakes on purpose. You can't break somebody something and say, no, but I'll buy you something new every time you keep breaking their things. I'll keep stealing their things. You have to do tshuva and not make the same sins over and over again. Okay, so yes, this story happened a long time ago. It was very sad. But we learned a lot from the story. We learned a lot from the story because now we know that if somebody does something bad, even if the police doesn't catch him, even if the teacher doesn't catch him, Hashem sees everything. Hashem sees everything, and Hashem will eventually punish him. And maybe he'll return as a little fly in the middle of the shiur because since he didn't learn Torah from his imah, then he has to come back to this world and learn Torah from the rabbi, even if he's a fly. You understand? Do we want to be flies?
No!
We want to be we don't want to be flies. We want to be tzadikim. So that way, if we learn Torah, right? Imagine if we learn Torah, we're going to be tzadikim. Okay. And you have a question over there? No? Everybody's okay? All the questions are answered? Okay? As a king of let's say Baruch Hashem for learning Torah. 1, 2, 3.
BeEzrat